So before we get into what it was like when you first, are getting out of China, I wanted to ask you, experiencing, you said neighbors disappeared?
Yes, for no reason. And recently, one of my junior high school students used to be on wheelchair. He disappeared too. All of my junior school good friends in my hometown, they don't know where he is.
When you were younger, did you understand what it was to have someone disappeared?
No, I just know the adults sometimes whisper. I was a child. I live in that courtyard until we were about 16 to move to another better place. But this 8-family share courtyard, I was always curious when the people were talking about something, like comments on society, the government. I would like to ask a question. They always say, shh, quiet. Go there, sit there. You child, don't say anything. I just heard 2 people just gone. I don't know what happened to them. Not supposed to ask questions. And there's no trial, no say nothing, no notification. Don't know what happened.
Did you ever realize as you got older what was going on?
Now I know. People disappear all the time. Even when I was in law school, I did not know. I also did not know lots of people starving to death. I did not know any of those. I just wanted to, basically, I was young. I just wanted to have some personal freedom. I want to be left alone. So I decided I should come to a free country so I can be left alone. That's all I wanted. I did not know how ugly actually China society was.
What was it like to learn of the First Amendment when you were shown that pocket constitution?
Freedom of free to speak and free to assemble. You know what? It's kind of funny. They had all that in the Chinese constitution too, and the Soviet, but they never exist in reality.
So why believe him?
But the most important, when he told me that the U.S. actually has a separation of powers, that was most shocking to me. It's, we have a 3-branch of government. You get to vote, Lily, as a citizen. It's like, really? My first time I voted in the United States, it was the year of 2000. I was 36 years old. First time to vote in my entire life. I took that right so seriously, where lots of people don't even vote. But they run you over anyway if you don't vote. Like some people don't vote. But, if you think, I'm not political, I don't need to vote, I don't need to choose my own, rulers, they don't leave you alone. They have interest in you, where you are not interested in politics. They want to control you, dominate you, and take away more of your private property, even your self-ownership of your body. Look at what's happening last year and this year, right? So that's what the communists do. So when I realized, I could come to this country later, become citizen, vote, choose who represents me, that was a huge deal. Of course, this religious freedom, we were shut down all religions during the Mao's Cultural Revolution. My grandmother, my mom were Buddhist. And all of a sudden, we could not go to Buddha's temple to say, Buddha bless me anymore, because that was not PC. You need to say, long live Chairman Mao. Don't say, Buddha bless me. So, I, in order to become young pioneer red card, I could not tell people we were Buddhist. That would be stupid. That's black class.
I think maybe the most shocking thing may have been the discovery of the Second Amendment.
Yes.
What were you thinking when you discovered Americans can just have guns?
I could not even comprehend that. And I could not comprehend that. I just thought, are you sure? Are you sure? Because in China, it's illegal. You go straight to jail, right? I want to tell you a funny thing. When I first came to this country, I was afraid of guns. I was afraid to touch it. It's like a gun is going to jump on me and kill me or something. Then my husband, I'm married to a Texan, right? I went to gun range. And they showed me. First time I went to gun range, I scared them a lot because I just say, what is this? Start to people say, no, lady, you never pick up gun like that. That's not responsible. You could kill somebody. Number 1 rule, you never point at a person, right? So I said, okay. So they show me how to use it and how to practice this or that. So I start to feel a little bit comfortable. And when I fired first shot, it was very scary. It was loud, even though I had the earplug, and then kickbacks like, oh no, it was horrible. I said, oh, it's better I don't touch guns. So I was still afraid of guns. But after I become citizen, learned about my rights, and especially that the Tiananmen Square massacre happened, when you say citizens and the students, peaceful protesters were slaughtered. And I start to really appreciate a Second Amendment. You could beg the tankers, soldier to stop. Please don't kill our students. They are our brightest best, like the Beijing citizens did. So Deng Xiaoping had to get those troops from outside of Beijing because Beijing soldiers could not do it.
Wow.
Because they know, oh, they're just peaceful protesters. They just want to have a dialogue with the party officials. They were not talking about overthrow government at all. So Deng Xiaoping went to Hubei, Wuhan area to get the troops come in. They're all indoctrinated. We have a counter-revolutionary in the Beijing. Go to crush them.
They knew the power of college students. They used the young ideological college students in the first place. So naturally, they understood that these people would bring about change.
Yes.
They'd stop them.
So if you are not in line, you are labeled to be counter-revolutionaries. Very sad. Since 1989, the case is sealed. Those students are counter-revolutionary according to China's law. So their moms, dads were waiting for years trying to get the case overturned, even just get a little bit better name for their children who died that day. They couldn't do it. It's a banned word on internet. You cannot even search Tiananmen Square massacre.
Did you know about Tiananmen Square massacre when you were living in China?
Oh, I was here in 1988.
Oh, okay.
So I watched the whole thing. I was so sad. And I had a friend who worked for Xinhua News Agency in Beijing. They were there for entire 6 weeks peaceful protest period to feel excited. And they were just hoping, oh, no crackdown. No, we just want to have a dialogue. We're not counter-revolution. We're not violent criminals. And so that night, they heard the gunshots. One girl came back to office, Xinhua News Agency, the propaganda arm of the Chinese Communist Party, young college graduates. That night, all cried. They lost hope. My friends, I don't know where they are today. Gone.
You think the state took them?
Some disappeared, some went to jail. I think this guy who worked for Xinhua News Agency, I think he left country. I don't know where he is today. Maybe Australia. I don't know. He should find me if he knew I'm in America. But I don't know where they are. He even told me, I'm not going to have children. I'm not going to get married. Maybe that's the, least thing I can do, so-called contribute to my motherland. I'm going to be gone. I'm not going to have kids in this country. So most educated people are gone,
I could not imagine wanting to leave America. I understand, though. Actually, I take that back. Growing up in the United States and then working for companies where I've traveled all over the world, I've seen how amazing America is because you take it for granted not being here. Or you take it for granted being here, I mean. When I started traveling around covering conflict and crisis in other countries and then seeing what the rules and the laws were, I was in Thailand, for instance. You couldn't even paraphrase disparagement of the royal family. It's lèse-majesté. It's a crime, even as a journalist, to say, if let's say, Ian disparaged the crown, I could not as a reporter say Ian Crossland made a comment disparaging the crown. That itself was a crime. And so I remember having conversations with foreign journalists, and one accidentally referenced someone insulted the king and then panicked and started looking around, making sure, because even as a foreigner, you can get in trouble.
Yes.
Then I come back to America and I'm going through the security line and I see the border CBP and they're looking like, yeah. And I'm like, I see the American flag and I'm like, wow. I know
feel
that
different, huh?
I can say screw off to the president all day and night and laugh, and I can say it into the face of these federal agents, these officers, and they'd look at me like a weirdo, and I'd be like, hey, I'm just saying it because I love America. I didn't say that, obviously. Yeah. I'm saying, like, you can. And it's crazy. Now with what we're seeing with all this critical race theory stuff, now I understand when I hear these stories about Cuba, Venezuela, China, the Soviet Union, that if these things do keep happening here in the United States and they do get as crazy as they get crazier than they are, then I would understand, why someone would flee their country. And that's scary to me because America is the last best hope, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of countries in the world. Some of them are pretty good. Uruguay's pretty chill. But America is something unique with that Constitution, that Bill of Rights. And if we don't defend it and we lose it, then what do we have? Where do we go?
That's why I publicly come out, and I funded with another Vietnamese American, New Hampshire Asian American Coalition. Our first rally was about stop critical race theory indoctrination. We had 250 people showed up, and we had about 12 people on this stage when we ended the event holding signs. All men are created equal in their own native language. Japanese, Thai, Chinese, and all kind of languages to say, what people even don't know what we're saying. We just hold the signs and say this one short sentence until the last guy, and American guy, and he's a black, and he held the sign, said beautifully, like all men are created equal. Then we play the song, the Charles, called the American the Beautiful. It was a very positive, unifying movement. All those immigrants come from all over the world. Think America is an exceptional country. The only country you can come to achieve American dream. I get emotional when I think about that. Like, American dream. Where can you achieve American dream? And I was just so touched by watching them. Oh my God, it's like we defend America. America is not systemic racist country. Otherwise, why would we all want to come? Sorry about that. I just get emotional.
I agree. I grew up here. I grew up in Chicago. I grew up being told a lot of things by leftists, anarchists. We didn't have critical race theory back then, but we certainly had class theory. And so when I was younger, I heard all about, the 1%, the rich. And I still have some libertarian. I consider myself to be left libertarian. I think libertarian comes first in that you can't force people to do things. You have to come to agreements and find cooperation and negotiate. There has to be mutual agreements. And it really wasn't until I started traveling the world and seeing what other countries are like that I started to realize, man, we really do have something special here. I think America has its share of bad history. What country doesn't? The history of the world is fairly bad, but we've certainly made something special, and I think you hit the nail on the head. If it really was so awful and racist, why would everyone want to come here?
Well, that's why I feel like, I learned about the slavery history. No country is ever perfect, and we all have our issues we need to deal with. That's why it's so important for all the citizens with diversity of ideas, minds, thoughts, skills to come together, have conversations. How are we going to solve our problems we face? How we're going to help our communities, our families? But that's what America is about. We all are melting pot immigrants from somewhere many years ago. How could we condemn each other? How could we call it, if you were born white, you're racist. Your ancestors were racist. But I come here, I'm supposed to be victim, oppressed as a Chinese immigrant. I came here with nothing, $100 borrowed. And I owe my professor, sponsor, $1,200 in debt. I could not even speak English. I was about 24 years old. I walk away from a country, my family, friends, and in a foreign land. And American people opened their arms to welcome me, to offer me their homes, free items, kitchenware, blankets, clothing, because I was a poor graduate student. And I lived in Austin, Texas, a traditionally very white neighborhood.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.